Arsenal 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. We've done it, and we can now relax. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think it was very relaxing in the last 5 to 10 minutes of that game, but I will say this, when it's 2-1, you can never be sure of 3 points. But Arsenal did make sure of the 3 points tonight in the end, but it should have been much more comfortable. I don't think Tottenham played well enough tonight to deserve anything out of the game. There was only one team that looked like they were going to take the 3 points, and it was Arsenal in the end, but it should have been more convincing. It should have been more convincing. We missed chances. We need a striker. We need an attacker. In fact, we need more than one. We actually need 2, in my opinion. Tonight, Kai Havertz fluffed his lines. Ødegaard missed chances. Brilliant ball from Kieran Tierney when he came on into the path of Ødegaard, and he fluffs his lines. Martinelli doing brilliantly to burst into the box with his pace, taking it round 1, then 2, then 3 defenders, but then failing to pull the trigger. We've got Sterling tonight, who I actually thought did look a little bit more bright and has done in the last couple of games, but still not really got any telepathy with Kai Havertz on the front line. Trossard got his goal, however tonight it was good to actually see one of our players have a dig, and it went in. I've got to say, the Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper, who a lot of Spurs fans was very, very impressed with the signing of, I thought was a shaky goalkeeper tonight. I thought he had some problems. I didn't think he was in a position where he could actually be calm and composed on the ball. We didn't allow him any time whatsoever from playing out from the back, and I have to say that's the only thing I saw Kai Havertz do well, actually, was actually track the goalkeeper down. I didn't think he had a very good night tonight again, Kai Havertz. He's going through a bit of a spell at the moment where we are struggling to see goals from him, and that's Arsenal's front line all over. So we're in a position now where we can do something about that. It's January, we need to look to bring in at least one attacking player on the way home, as you can see now from the game tonight. Buzzing, always good to beat your North London derby rivals, and I will say this, I think we deserved it. It's the best free-flowing football we've seen so far this season. I was really impressed with Mikel Arteta. I think he got his spot on in terms of how he wanted to set his team up and play. I was really happy with the team lineup. I think there was only really maybe Leandro Trossard that could have been a question mark of, was it Martinelli you play or was it Trossard? He went with Trossard, brought Martinelli on to bring in some kind of impact, and I think he did do that in terms of his pace. I never ever write off Martinelli when it comes to his tenacity, with his work rate, his passion, his drive and desire that he shows when he comes on. But I have to say, it was a great goal from Leandro Trossard. The goalkeeper has got to do better, however. Spurs actually went 1-0 up, and I think it shook the stadium. But what I will say is, the fans did their job tonight. From minute 1 to the final whistle, they gave their all. The atmosphere was buzzing. It's the best atmosphere I've seen at the Emirates all season. It's always great when you play Spurs. It's always great when you beat Spurs. But the fans definitely did the job tonight, and I think that definitely needs to be looked at, because, you know, I think there's been times over the last couple of weeks where perhaps the fan base have been a little bit deflated, rightly so. Some of the justification has been because of the performances. I don't think they've been quite there. I think going out of both competitions, it seems now in both cups, you can see why the fans got frustrated. You can see why there's been a level of kind of dropping confidence around the stands. But I will say this, in the stadium today, it was rocking. Sorry, this is a rocky, bumpy ride. I will say this though, however, that we are in a position now where we can start to look individually at performances, and I thought Lewis-Skelly tonight was player of the match. It is a phenomenal performance from him. He, for me now, is our best left back by far, by quite some way. I look at what he's doing performance-wise, the level of consistency that he's starting to put into his performances, the composure, the confidence, the flair, the fact that he's allowed, or believes he's allowed, the confidence to express what he's got. And I have to say, his strength tonight for a 17-year-old is phenomenal. He brushed away Kulusevski as if he was not there. It was superb to see. So I have to say, for me, player of the match. I thought the link-up that he had with Declan Rice was superb. Whether it was Trossard or Martinelli or even Sterling at times on that left-hand side, he was able to get in behind them. I thought he was wonderful tonight. And I have to say, that is a real bright future. For a player, you have to big it up. At 17 years old, he's come through as a midfielder. He's playing out of position. He's at left-back. He has been superb. Absolutely wonderful tonight from Lewis-Skelly. And he's a player that I've got a lot of time for. In a player that comes onto the North London derby, comes into the North London derby the way that he has been superb. And tonight, the performance, I thought, deserved a standing ovation. Look, I'm a big fan of what Ethan Nwaneri has brought. I don't think we've spoken about Miles Lewis-Skelly enough. I think when you look at what Ethan Nwaneri has done, I can see the bright light, I can see the fact that he's scored already, I can see the fact that he's brought assists and he's lifted the stadium, perhaps when we needed it. But I've got to say, Miles Lewis-Skelly, hats off to you, because I've been very, very impressed with you this season. I think he's been a shining light, I think he's been a positive, and perhaps the season where there's been quite a few negatives already, he's definitely been one of the positives, so I have to big him up tonight. The other player I have to mention tonight, of course, well, there's been a couple of players I'd actually like to mention tonight. Thomas Partey, I thought in the first half he looked outstanding in everything that he did. Yeah, there was a couple of times in the second half where I thought he was a little bit sloppy, taking some risks, but I thought he deserved a mention. Timber tonight looked back to his best. I think he's had a couple of shaky games, to be honest, and I'm a little bit disappointed that we've had to play him for so long after an ACL because of the injuries to White, and of course Tomiyasu, who's rumoured to be back in training now. Let's see how long that lasts before we're calling for him to be injured again. And then I have to say, I thought Declan Rice tonight was superb, and I've been fairly critical of Rice in that position. I don't like him in the 8. I've made that quite clear. I've made it clear that I think he's a 6. I've made it clear that I think in the 8 he's not utilised well enough with his attributes that he's got in the game. But tonight I thought he was one of our better players, and he drove us forward, and he actually looked very comfortable on the ball. I think he had the legs and the athleticism in midfield, which is something I've kind of looked at over the last few games and suggested that perhaps he hasn't quite got that to the degree that I thought he had. I still think he's a 6, and I still want to see him in the 6, but it does at least show you that he can be flexible in that position when called upon. I just think his natural position is deeper. I've just got to say it. Sorry, I'm like I'm in a boat today, isn't it? I'm up and down everywhere. It's a very rocky journey on the way back home, people, so bear with me. Hopefully you don't feel seasick. Look, I've got to be real. I think there's a lot that we can take from tonight in the attacking areas, and it needs to be that we have to go into January now. I don't care if it's Dusan Vlahovic, I don't care if it's Nico Williams, I don't care if it's Gyökeres or Osimhen or any of those players we've been linked with. We need to do something. There's Premier League proven players, Kudus, Mbeumo, Semenyo. Let's go and do something. Cunha has been mentioned before. Let's go and do something. We absolutely must. We cannot tonight be bringing on Marino, Kieran Tierney left wing, Zinchenko. We only had Martinelli tonight. He was literally the only player that we had that we could bring on and actually drive us forward. I've got to say, Martin Odegaard tonight as well, as much as I like him on the ball, I felt there was a couple of opportunities he had yet again where he's failing to shoot, and that frustrates me. I'm all for trying to find the perfect pass and trying to flick it here, there and everywhere, but when he does shoot, it's rolling into the keeper, and when he fails not to shoot, he's in unbelievable positions. And that's what frustrates me the most with Martin Odegaard, is he gets in a great position and you think, just pull the trigger, and he takes that extra touch, and it's infuriating. And I must say, Martinelli was doing that tonight. There was a couple of chances that he had, unbelievable. So we're in a position right now where all we can do is take the next game. We go into the next game at Aston Villa. It's a must win. They all are at the moment, and we need to beat Unai Emery's side this time at the Emirates. We can't be failing to beat our old manager this amount of times. We've done it with Villarreal, we've done it with Villa, we beat them at Villa Park. We need to do the double over them like we just have Tottenham as well now, because for me, that's going to be a tough game. They've just got back into form as well. They've got a good midfield, obviously Tielemans, Ross Barkley, all that kind of stuff. For me, it's an unbelievable opportunity to show that we can go on a run now, because we've had a couple of bad performances. Yeah, we always have these cluster of results, don't we? It doesn't mean we all want Mikel Arteta in now and everyone's happy with this. It doesn't mean that anyone who wanted him out still questions him. All it means is we've beaten our North London rivals. We move to the next game, and let's hope that we can be in a position come May that we can look back and say, do you know what? This was all worth it. I'm praying. I've got everything crossed. I don't have any belief. It's all hope at this point. What I do know is if we don't do anything in January, there's absolutely no hope whatsoever, and there's certainly going to be no belief from what I've got already. Now, if we're to go and do something in January, I would have to say this: it has to be something that comes in that's ready now. I don't want to be seeing a player that comes in at 20 to 21 years old that we are all looking at going, yeah, okay, give him a few months, give him the season, let him settle in. This has to be an impact player. It has to be a moments player. It has to be someone we can either start or bring on from the bench that's going to make a difference to the team. And I think there's players out there. Turkish has said it right. It's a delicious window. Trust me, it really is. When you've got Cunha, when you've got João Pedro, when you've got Semenyo, when you've got Brian Mbeumo, all looking to potentially be on the move to a bigger club. When you've got the likes of Victor Gyökeres with a release clause, you've got the likes of Victor Osimhen, Nico Williams, Ademola Lookman. These are all names that we should be absolutely all over. Now, the one that I think we might actually end up with is Dusan Vlahovic. I think Dusan Vlahovic is the one that at the moment looks most realistic. Colin Mawani has gone to Juventus. Potentially Dusan Vlahovic is the guy that Arsenal might look at. We know there was rumours a couple of seasons ago. Everyone said they wanted him. I liked him at Fiorentina. I don't think he's been outstanding at Juventus. There's a lot of the fans that I speak to that aren't actually a massive fan of Dusan Vlahovic, but he is better than what we've got. He is a killer in the box. He does bury chances. He is something that I think we lack at the moment, and that's why I think Arsenal, if they do get the opportunity to do something in January, they absolutely should, as opposed to wait into the summer, because we need something now. And I think when you're bringing on Kieran Tierney at left wing, I think he's showing to the Cronkies, Arteta, that we absolutely need something in January. Make sure you hit the like button, people. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy and up the Arsenal.